welcome back to the European LCS here, still live from the party that is DreamHack Summer 2013. I'm joined by Joe Miller and Trevor Quickshot Henry to talk about the upcoming match versus SK Gaming taking on Gambit. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that SK Gaming looked a little better versus Alternate, although obviously not there yet.
That's really hard to say, to be honest. I mean, I think that there are a lot of things that need to be done across the board to improve things here for SK Gaming. The fact is that Gambit, they've been very, very shaky.
One of the things that I want to double check in terms of the performances from these teams is, of course, that SK Gaming, they need to really turn on the pressure, turn on the gameplay that will allow them to control themselves in these matches at the moment. In terms of the gameplay against the Alternate, however, they weren't able to take charge, and that was the main problem that they weren't able to accomplish during the course of the game. And even though they had moments of brilliance, it wasn't consistent throughout the game, but it was the first game that they actually made plays stick.
Yeah, and what do we think about Gambit? I mean, they didn't start off that well back in the spring split, their first weekend, or they had a couple of big losses. They still came back swinging. So what do you think about that? We saw that Master Yi coming up. We saw that Master Yi it got successful towards the end of the game, but is that really something you need to see?
I'm not really sure about this whole Master Yi thing, I have to be honest. I'm still not 100% sure that it is the right champion for them, that it is a champion that, you know, for as good as Alex is, let me try that again. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. That he can make his potential. I don't know if Master Yi is quite there for him. I think there are better options for him. Obviously, quite a few of those options get banned out for him, but I think there's a little more impact there than he can have.
I also think that AP Yi, it works against a team that's not on the same page, that's maybe not as cohesive as they need to be. When he tried it against Fnatic, they shut it down. Like the moment that Meditate started, they had crowd control that was reserved to lock him down, get him out of that channel. Now it worked earlier today, but I don't really know if Ninjas in Pajamas are at a point where they can control and focus in a team fight, in and amongst the chaos, to shut that down. So we'll see what he pulls out this time, but another one is of course Darker. Support Fiddle, it's worked, but not for him just yet.
Yeah, that's something, I don't want to touch on it too much because it's only the first couple of days that we've seen Darker in play, but is there something that you can distinguish that I said, if this was Edward, they would have made the kills happen more, and that might be something they're missing, or is it too early?
I think that's really almost impossible to say, to be honest. It's all situational, it all comes down to individual play, and an individual situation. You can't, I think, ever say that Edward would have secured that kill or, taken the kill, either way around that you want to call it. But for me, Darker has shown that he can step up. He said it himself in the interview with you that he has a very different play style to Edward and that he's still learning. This is his first big tournament of any kind, and that he's still got a lot of work to do with the Gambit team themselves. And it's not something, unfortunately, for Gambit that you can just turn on overnight.
Yeah, and I think we can say for all the teams that were in the spring split that are back in the summer, they have a lot of work to do. So let's find out what SK Gaming and Gambit can show us. Over to D-Man and Jason.
Thank you very much, Shock. So we're about to get underway, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be SK Gaming taking on Gambit Gaming. And this is a scary, scary time for SK Gaming. They are 0-3 right now. They've just seen NIP go in 0-4. They do not want to be joining them down the bottom there. There, of course, is going to be Nip, the support for SK Gaming. Alongside him is the ever-present Candy Panda. That pairing has been a team since Season 1. They've played for Game.D right here at DreamHack. And of course, the ever-present man in the middle, Ocelot. He is very popular here. He was very down earlier on. Let's hope he has managed to pick his spirits up here. Hercubot, of course, as the jungler. See whether he can make an impression really as well, because honestly, he's been a little bit shaky as well today. And of course, as the top laner, Kevin, he is always Mr. Consistent for them.
Yeah, I'm still looking for that one champion that Kevin can play in the top lane right now that he did back in the spring split where he completely carried. Then it was Olaf. He hasn't really hit that just yet. But
I mean, harsh. That was only like week 1.
Well, you know what I mean, though. I mean, it's just that one champion that he completely overpowered the enemy lane with, and
well, he did it with Shen as well.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring.
Well, speaking of top laners, there is Darian for Gambit. They did, of course, pick up their first win of the day earlier on. They are 1-2 currently in the summer LCS. Diamond Prox What will he be pulling out this season? Will it be something new? Alex Itch alongside him, seemingly a lot happier today as well than he was yesterday. He seems to have his focus on Genja. He was aggressive earlier on today, showing up maybe that was the aggression that Gambit have required from him. And of course, the new guy, the new support man, it is Darker alongside Genja. We'll see how that works out for him because he's played pretty well so far.
Did you notice Diamondprox did something that Froggen couldn't earlier? He winked.
He winked.
It was really good to see, but it's great to see them smiling after what's been happening so far. And this is going to be a very good game, team. I really can't wait for this to get underway as we already are into the picks and bans. And first one coming in, Evelyn. So Diamondprox was the first one in Europe to bring her into the jungle. Alex obviously has played her in the past in middle. And I want to see if that's really going to affect any plans.
Well, the bans are coming thick and fast. They've already seen Twisted Fate continuing. Actually, not 100% because Frelnor did manage to get through, but continuing 100% picks and bans regardless. Shen also being banned out there, so Kevin is not going to be able to get that one. It was SK that actually banned it, so they didn't want to do that split push setup. I wonder if Malphite's going to come out again. He is not having good luck today. I think he's 0-5 in all the games that he's played so far.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because yesterday he, I think, was unbeaten at that point. And I mean, we've seen Alex actually play him a long time ago. Back, I think it was like in the EMS finals of some season. But I don't know. I think maybe target one more jungle ban or maybe target Alex because you still have Zed. You still have Kha'Zix available. So SK not banning it out leads me to believe that maybe they want to pick it up. But they do take away Malphite.
Nautilus also banned out there. There is Malphite being taken away, so they don't want that individual split style. And I'm glad to see Malphite being taken out because I can't stand that champion. He's pretty boring to cast, honestly. Jace has been taken him out. That's an exciting champion. He continues this 100% pick ban state. But it does mean that Kennan's available. The likes of Ryze is in there. What will SK go with as their first choice, though?
I think they're going to go with the jungler here for Hercubot. The thing is, like, Ryze early on, oh, even Thresh was available. Ryze pick early on or Kennen pick early on is really dangerous, like the Kennen, where you can build to counter him very easily if you get like a John or something like that, or even maybe a Nami. You can keep him out of the fights, and it's not going to be picked up until, you know, one of the last bans. But the Thresh does get locked in. We've seen Nif play very aggressive supports in terms of, you know, Elise, played Thresh as well, even Sona. Very strong champion, and we'll see how well he can do this.
Oh, we're happy to see Thresh, and of course it does mean the Kha'Zix has snuck through. Has Alex Itch pulled it out? Yes, he has. Locked in, and well, he got a pentakill last time he was able to play it. And of course, Jarvan also locked in alongside it. That is immediately going to give problems to SK Gaming.
Yeah, we're talking about that as we're still in the bans. You know, you need to take away something from Alex, like a Zed or Kha'Zix, and him locking it in, he's just so consistent on that champion of doing consistently well. I hate to use the word twice right there, but that is really going to be hard for SK to deal with. And then, of course, the Jarvan mixed in with that, it's going to be a very nice pairing as SK. You talked about Hercubot, hasn't really had the showing that we kind of expect out of him, hasn't really been playing up to par what he did last season. But Sejuani, we saw it earlier with Evil Geniuses, worked out for them, it might work out for SK.
Well, the one thing that has been talked about, and we were mentioning it earlier with Sejuani, is that the ultimate is pretty slow. It seemed to me that they were discussing trying to get that ultimate down there. If Darien obviously is going to be jumping around, it's going to be Alex, it's going to be jumping around to Kha'Zix. It's going to be very hard for them to land it, but we do see Zed getting locked in. That's potentially Ocelot. Not too sure might even be the top lane for Kevin.
Yeah, it very well could be, and we've actually, I think, if I remember correctly, we've seen the same, if they both go middle, the Zed versus Kha'Zix lane, they played against each other with this exact same setup, and Alex destroyed him. And Alex even said after the game to us that I should have won that lane that heavily. So we'll see if it's end up going to be that in the middle lane, or maybe Ocelot, who has actually been playing some different lanes lately. He hasn't necessarily been in the middle quite consistently.
We'll see how it does work out for him at the moment. We are waiting for Gambit to make their choices. Is it going to be the support and the AD carries? I suspect it will be. It does, of course, mean that they may switch things up. Go towards Zyra support. We did see it was Libic playing Zyra support earlier on for Meet Your Makers. They are currently 3-0 in the league, but Gambit, can they take themselves 2-2? There's a lot of top teams in that bracket 2-2 right now. This has been a scary super week for some of these top teams.
Yeah, it has, and that Zyra combo with Varus and the Jarvan is going to be so like amazing to see. It's going to be impossible to miss that Zyra ultimate. Not to mention Genja on Varus. Like, he is a ridiculously strong Varus player. Saw it back once in spring, only time you ever played him, and we saw him obviously earlier on today. So Candy Panda, it looks like he actually might go for Graves, and he favored that quite a bit back in the spring split, if I'm not mistaken. And it's all about what are SK going to round it off with, because Ocelot, he typically likes getting the last pick for his team. like, so he can counter anything if he goes for it. But obviously, we're not sure if that Zed will be with Kevin or with him yet.
Right now, Gambit have a fairly heavy dive comp in the form of Jarvan and Kha'Zix, so they need something to prevent them. The Flare, of course, coming out from the Thresh should be enough, and Kevin has gone for Kennen once again, which he did pull out in the last game. It was kind of semi-successful, but he was kept out of it by a Janna last time around. This time the presence is not there.
When did Void get here?
We're seeing Tryndamere hovered over. They hovered over this before, you know. Yesterday, I believe it was, and I thought they maybe were going to lock it in this time. It would, of course, be Darian playing it, or it could be Alex Ich.
Yes, it could, and
because he played it in the All-Stars.
Yeah, and then we saw Void actually this last week in the first week of the summer split, playing him in the top lane, and he did extremely well. But I would love to see Alex on the Sandra.
You see Dark and giggling. Sorry, Genji's giggling alongside him.
I would love to see that though. We've seen Ferelnor play him. I want to see Alex play him as well on top of that. But SK's lineup before the last pick does go in for Gambit, I actually really like it. You were talking about Sejuani. The ultimate's really slow. Like, Gambit doesn't really have a highly mobile team to get away from it. The only thing they really have is the Zyra knockup to prevent Kennen from getting his full channel off, and that was Sandra's going to get locked in, Demon.
The Sandras did get locked in. The question is, who's going to be playing? Will it be Alex Ich, or will it be Darian in that top lane? We have seen some top lane Lysandras already in the form of Soaz. Candy Panda scratching his head, trying to make sense of it all now.
He's like, this game.
He's like, you got to be kidding me, not Lysandra so hard again.
And Kha'Zix to jump on top of you, so it's gonna be very hard for him to stay alive. So luckily he's gonna be going with that barrier, or smartly going with that barrier.
Well, I mean, luckily the fact that he's got a maneuverable champion, obviously that's why you do tend to go with him. He's got that quick draw, tries to get away from there. Kevin, of course, is going to be maneuverable on Kennen. Sejuani's going to be locking them up. So they actually have a pretty good lineup here. But what do you give it to me? Because that's a full-on dive aggression from Gambit coming out there, with Lysandra just stacking on top of Kha'Zix jumping in, the layered from Jarvan, and then, of course, just at the back, Genja's going to be sitting pretty.
Well, in the end, I think it works out for him if Gambit engages upon them. Like, to me, the meta has kind of shifted from back in Spring Split, it was about picking off someone extremely quickly, then moving on into the team. But now it's more about team compositions and fighting together, as you see in SK's lineup. But to me, it's like SK, if Nif lands a hook, which he is just amazing at doing, and goes in with the box, holds them in there, you follow that up with the Sejuani ultimate and the Kennen ultimate, not to mention the Graves, who has ridiculous burst. You can never underestimate that. It's going to cause quite a few problems for Gambit.
And you see Fnatic sitting by watching this match. There is the SK team. That is their view from their screens. That's what they see. It's a little bit different from your view at home. There's a view you've got to get very good at the game to have that view. Not quite the same as you guys on the front row, but I'm sure your elo's close. That's a great look.
That's going to be a gift somewhere, I can tell.
I've pulled faces very similar
be on
before,
Reddit.
so it's nothing new there. But we are about to get underway, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is game 8 of the day, I believe.
Yep.
We have 2 more to go after this one, which is not bad. It's only 7 p.m. We're doing okay today, guys. We're actually on schedule. We're ahead of schedule, I feel, as well. But it is going to be SK Gaming taking on Gambit Gaming. Remember, Gambit finished 2nd in the league, and SK Gaming finished 3rd. SK Gaming, more importantly, did pick up a win in the last Super Week of the Spring LCS over Gambit. Can they continue that form? Because before that, they lost 10 times.
That is a lot of times, unfortunately, for them. It's not as bad as their streak against Fnatic, obviously, but as you can see on your screen, Ocelot's on Kennen. So they did a last-minute switch. So we're going to have Kevin in the top lane on that Zed, or whichever lane he decides to go to. And Ocelot, this is something to me that's like his style. He likes picking champions that are playmakers, like Orianna, stuff like that, Kassadin. And that Kennen can be a huge playmaker. It's just about your ability to get in there. Obviously, with that flash, you should have the opportunity.
I'm starting to grow to hate that spinning orb. Gotta be honest. The little countdown that comes alongside it.
What if they replaced it with like a picture of Timo? Slowly dying.
Just a little troll face or something. I don't know, something that could pop up on the screen, just going, not quite yet, because it's another pause.
No. It's from Jurassic Park, the that little thing.
Didn't say the magic word. And it does look like it's SK that actually has the pause. I'm looking towards Hercubot, actually. No, it's Ocelot. It's Ocelot.
No, Hercubot. Oh, Hercubot did pause the game, so
it's definitely
looks like problems on
Ocelot's
SK's
talking
side.
to Taco Storm right there. So, right, are on the case. Headsets back on. Hopefully, pause will get back underway. It's always interesting to see the keyboard positions they're using. You can see he's like at an angle, all over the place. Some of them are just pretty standard. They all have those enormous SK mouse mats as well. Looks like Emil's covering off Genja as well. He's getting covered off as well. So, but is that a Fnatic mouse mat? The Dark is using? No, it's just a Razer one, I think.
I'm trying to think. There's a player in North America, I think it's Chris, who plays actually left-handed. So he uses the mouse in his left hand and the keyboard obviously for his right hand. And he sits like on the very edge for the team because he'll hit mice with the jungler if they play next to each other.
Slamming you, but he is the top lane. He's a very good top laner as well. Really nice guy as well. I met him obviously while I was over there for the North American Spring promotion. They didn't quite make it that time, but they've got through and they're doing a very good job in the North American LCS. The team's looking apprehensive, don't look quite ready. Candy Panda's spamming some keys. Not too sure what for. Maybe just warming up the keypad, who knows.
Well, they're actually asking if Gambit's ready, so it looks like SK's problems have been fixed, but Gambit still, I believe that's Genja actually who left the game, will get his problems fixed out relatively shortly. But looking at these teams in terms of how they're going to kind of lay out, because we mentioned about the whole team fight capability of both teams. I really have to give the early game over to Gambit because of that Kha'Zix. Obviously, if you can roam around, not to mention Darien, who we've never seen on the Sandra, might be able to make some big plays. And they're all about that early game. If they can just snowball early on, the whole AoE composition, the bursting them down, is just not going to matter too much for SK.
Well, both teams are saying they're ready, so we are going to get back into the game. You hear the pings go down. It does mean we are ready. There is Ocelot. What is Panky showing me there? He's showing me the armor pen and magic pen. Thank you very much. I like to see the little cursor going on there. It's good to have a commentator. Ooh, Alex is just going to get flash hooked here. It's going to maybe get on towards him. Will he be first? Blood ignites on him. The ticks are going down, but I don't think it's quite going to be enough. And he will walk away from that one. That was the flash burn and the ignite from Nif.
But look what they gained from that. They forced Alex to take his jump level 1, which in the end, when you hit level 2, it's not going to matter too much, but it gives Ocelot that extra ability to be aggressive early on. And it looks like they're not done just yet. They're still sticking around here. And they might be able to make something happen, though. Diamond did level up his flag, so he obviously has a vision.
Yeah, the flash was also used by Alex Ditch as well, so maybe we'll see some ganks coming out from Hercubot early on in that mid lane. Let's have a look at where they're setting up. It does look like they do. AD and support of Gambit are going to be heading towards that top lane, so it's going to be a 2v1 lanes. Who will benefit from this from the most one? Zed, of course, is going to be in that 2v1 against Genja and Darko in the form of Kevin. Meanwhile, down the bottom, it is going to be, of course, Lissandra, which is going to be Darien. So Darien taking it out, just like Soaz did earlier as the solo lane.
Looking at it, I wish I could tell you, yeah, I saw Lissandra 1v2 quite well, but not quite well, but seen it before quite often. But I think depending on how it goes, like if you can hold Zed back, who honestly can farm decently well under turret, then that burst he has, that threat he becomes, kind of diminishes until way later in the game. Darien, he's pretty much just like the initiate for his team. That paired along with Diamond Proc. So in the end, I think Darien's going to benefit more from it, but see in the middle lane, we have Kevin versus Alex.
Yeah, so they've switched it around. They know they're going to be 2v1, so instead Ocelot has chosen to go top there. Look at Kevin going straight aggressive here. And as you mentioned, Zed should win out this fight. I think personally it's a bit of a skill matchup myself.
It's switched up now. So because in 3.7, Zed, his Q got nerfed in terms of going through minions, the damage it does. He can't wave clear as fast as a Kha'Zix, and he can't harass as well. So I think Alex should be able to win that one out, but as you're seeing on your screen, we're seeing Invade come out of SK onto the blue buff of Gambit.
They have got wards covering it there. They do ping it straight away. Diamond is just off the side there. We'll see whether he's going to come around. Has got Smite available. I wonder if he's going to try and do a drive-by Smite here. No, it does look like he's going to get taken away. It's Hercubot that picks that up. He did use his Smite of his own. But I expect to see Diamond heading straight towards the opposition blue buff.
Yeah, look at the ward coverage they have actually towards that blue. If you look towards the top side of middle, they have a ward down there to spot it coming in, or spotting him coming in if he does go for it. And obviously Jarvan is a very strong jungler, very strong ganker early on, but at that level 6, that Cataclysm, to get out of that, you pretty much have to have an escape, or you're going to have to commit a flash to it. So great job by Hercubot and SK to really deny that away from him. And then obviously the earlier Hercubot hits 6, the more deadly he's going to become.
Well, he's just used his Smite on the Warfare, so he's not going to be going anytime soon towards it. He is looking at maybe trying to create something at the bottom, but the fact that those wards are still on the blue buff, they know exactly is there. Kevin also got a little bit of poke on him there from Alex Ditch, so a little bit of aggression back and forth between them. That's forcing Kevin to be a little bit more defensive here in this middle lane. Of course, the fact that Diamond is nearby, maybe going to look to have one of those ganks, but immediately Kevin puts that ward on, says, yep, I know you're there. go away.
So Hercubot actually did pick up his own blue off the back of that, so he got that like ridiculous level advantage early on right now. And we'll see how it's going to work out. And keep in mind, this is pretty much Ocelot versus Darien right now. If you're going to compare CS, since you have Kevin going head-to-head against Alex. So just keep that in mind. But Gambit being very aggressive right now, already have that turret down about half health here. And on the other side of the situation, SK hasn't really done too much damage to that turret.
Putting a ton of pressure on that top lane. They are the one that obviously is forced to switch around, so they will want to take that turret down as quick as possible. And also, he's going to be on Ken, and he's going to be a little weak early on against this 2v1 laner. You can see he's desperately trying to create something here, just trying to get that tower to hit him, and he did manage to get his wishes there. Ken just took one tower hit. It's going to be more that he can dish out just on his own right now. He has still got that Doran's Blade start, which is not the standard build. I wouldn't have thought for 2v1. Kennen against
I don't think he expected to be 2v1. I think he honestly expected to be 1v1 against Darien, because Gambit typically doesn't rotate their top lane at all. I mean, Darien will usually just be top lane. So I don't think he really expected it. Luckily, he did have a ward on him, so he won't get dove really too easily top lane. But we do have Hercubot coming in for gank on middle. Alex obviously has that jump to get away. His flash is still on cooldown, but it's a Kha'Zix.
just waits for his time, jumps away. So let's have a look across the board. Kevin did start off with a pot, I believe. He's actually got no items right now. Alex is going to keep the pressure on, forcing him back on towards that turret. He'll be able to farm out the CS, so I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem for him. But you can see he is still up on CS with Alex, so no problems there. That bottom turret, now it's took a lot of damage. You can see SK have managed to work it down. They've actually taken it lower than the top turret. So Ocelot now defending a lot better, and Candy Panda and Nif have suddenly realized, right, these guys are pushing the top turret. We need to shove this bottom one.
Yeah, they do. It's the sign that Gambit, they don't want to go late game against SK. They don't want to give Ocelot a chance to become really powerful to lock their team down. So they're trying to end it early on. But SK, they should be able to take this turret here, as it's now very low on health. And Darien, he has to be a little careful here. If he gets hooked, he could potentially die.
There is the hook. The 6-minute turret goes down. The flay comes out. Darien with no mana at all. That's going to be the ignite on him, and he is going to flash away from it, and he will escape. While this is all happening, the mid lane had a bit of poke back and forward as well. It was actually Sejuani that was having a little poke in there with Hercubot. Alex is trying to get aggressive on him. He went for the Tear of the Goddess. Ocelot just avoiding the piercing arrow there. Takes the hail arrows instead from Genja. So, how is that going to work out? Who's that going to favor? Are they going to switch it up? As it stands, though, SK continuing to put the pressure on that bottom lane.
Yeah, so they have the wards to really go for this, because if you look at Nif, he wasn't forced to put any early wards down since he had a 2v1 lane. So now they're just taking that aggression, they're warding up deep inside the jungle of Gambit. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to continue pushing that just to keep Darien out of it. So if he ever does become that initiate for Gambit, he's going to be shut down. But as you see on your minimap, that's not going to happen. Candy Panda will head up towards the top side, and then most likely we're going to have Ocelot versus Darien. And I wanted to see if actually, yeah, okay, so Darien, he is pushing the lane back out. He's not trying to freeze it, which actually would have destroyed Ocelot if they do pop that lane swap.
Yeah, we'll see whether he does. He is going to go back down towards that bottom lane. So it will be a full lane swap, and it is going to be the duo lanes up against each other. Kevin returns to lane as well. He's been and got himself a Vampiric Scepter as his first item. Vampiric Scepter also picked up by Candy Panda as well. So he's in that top lane. He's going to be going up with Vampiric Scepter and the Doran's Blade along with those boots. So actual build advantage going to Genja, because he waited just a little bit longer to back off.
But then we might run into that problem that we've seen Genja be building 3 Doran's Blades every time. But we'll see what's going to happen this time. Maybe he won't go for it. The last game, he did not. So I changed up a little bit here. But that Varus versus Graze mixed in with the Thresh and Zyra is going to be extremely explosive here. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the kill comes down very quickly, because we have an advantage of levels to Candy Panda. He is 6. He has that burst available. It's just up to Nif if he can land that hook and if they feel confident going in.
Kansas hit 6. This CS difference is actually going to get creative, because Darien's just cleared out those 3 waves, I believe it is, down that bottom lane. He's now miles ahead of Ocelot. 30 CS to 45, building up that big advantage. Ocelot, we'll see how it works out for them. Still no kills, of course, in this game. The gold advantage is with SK, as you would expect, with that 1 turret down, and Ocelot's going to be happy to continue farming on this turret here. Puts the ward down on the ward. The Tribush, Alex is backing off. He's going to maybe complete the Manamune here. I'm not too sure what he's going to go with early on. Would it be Boots? Sells the mana pot and goes for the Manamune.
Okay, so what's that very early damage coming in? And I like what Darien's doing bottom lane. I just want to go back to that really quickly, is that we always know him as this very aggressive laner. He likes to push constantly. Most of the time he gets caught for being too far out, but the thing is, he had, or actually I think he still does have Yeah, he does have a ward in that tri-bush, so he's going to push up against Ocelot, make him farm under turret, which he currently doesn't have double Doran's Blade, so it's kind of hard for that to happen.
They're going for blue buff here, I feel. Actually, meanwhile, in the top lane, oh, it's going to be a snipe on Nif. He gets dropped down, and now towards the blue buff, you can see Hercubot was looking in there. Ocelot's getting rated to go, but the pink ward coming out from Gambit, that surely will trigger them to go defensive. They can't push in towards this one.
They don't want to give away any kills, since that first blood just did go over to Darker. And that is going to be really nice for Alex to stack that mana immune now. And it looks like he's actually going to be going bottom here. And in the meantime, Candy Panda is trying to pressure this turret. Hasn't done too much damage to it yet. But he does have a nice chunk of farm.
Well, there's 3-man diving in towards the top here. Darker's all on his own right now. Here comes Hercubot. He's going to happily tank the damage. He's going to throw that ultimate out. Candy Panda's just going to actually, he's tanking the turret. Just got to be careful. The passive might come out. The snipe's not going to be enough. It does go across Candy Panda, but his safety picks up the kill.
In the meantime, Gambit's doing something that they normally do, but it's with Darien in the top lane dying like that, not Darker. So if that happens, they just go for a gank. But Genja actually is down in the top lane.
He is going in the top lane. He does get taken down. The dragon was being picked up by Gambit, but that is another kill for SK Gaming. The gold will actually equalize itself though, because with that dragon going down, they could push on this top turret though.
Yeah, they could get this down if they wanted, but right now they're just taking a little bit of farm. Candy Panda is going to be backing out now with 1,800 gold to spend. So he's going to have that BF sword, maybe go into that Bloodthirster right away. Not to mention Kevin, who hasn't bought quite a while. He's on 2,000 gold right now. So if he goes for that Blade of the Rune King early on, he should be able to have it very quickly. And he's in the top lane, keeping the minions pushed into that turret and forcing Gambit to miss out.
Well, of course, all that creep wave was just wiped out by the turret, so they're happy to let that, taking that damage. They didn't want to shove it down. Kevin's happy to continue farming, as you mentioned. I think he'll probably back away now. Dark has managed to root up all of those minions. Nif is back in the mid lane, and it does look like the duo lanes with Candy Panda will be making their way towards that middle lane. They want to start putting pressure on the mid turret.
I'm trying to decide right now if I actually like Ocelot skipping the double Doran's Blade to go towards the Seeker's Arm Guard right away, because he realizes I'm going to need that zone just very quickly. But he seems to be farming quite well into turret, so not going to be hurting out too much. And SK, just like we saw in the top lane, they roamed around as 3, ganked Darker, ganked Genja. They're still sticking together here like a buddy system. And they have the opportunity to actually get into the top without being spotted if he wants to go for it.
Well, Nif at the moment puts that pink ward down, will spot the pink ward in the river. He's going to clear that one out. Darker's not going to be too impressed with that. He's only just placed it there. Kevin has switched up. Kevin's now up against Alex Ditch in that bottom lane, so that means Ocelot's going to rotate towards the middle lane to go up against Darien. In terms of farm, it's tricky to keep up with really who's pairing off. I guess, as you mentioned earlier, Kevin's technically paired against Alex Ditch here, and Ocelot's kind of looking towards Darien, so that's really the farm we should be looking at. In that terms, they are actually pretty close. The advantage currently is Candy Panda. Oh, we do have Darien coming down his bottom lane. Thought about going in there along with Diamond Procs, but Kevin wisely backing well away from that one.
Yeah, after looking at it again, Ocelot definitely wanted to go against Darien 1v1, because if you think about it, if Darien comes in at you, you just pop your Ken ultimate on, he's going to get stunned right next to you. He won't be able to escape unless he flashes, and you should be able to turn that fight around. So Ocelot, he's trying to chase him down, trying to stick with them, but pushing the middle turret right now, it's still very healthy. Still applying that pressure, forcing Gambit to react, and if you check out your minimap, Alex is being very patient over the bottom lane, trying to make something happen here. He's about to hit that level 11 mark, where he gets that extended leap range, but Hercubot coming top lane right now. He has his ultimate available, and Gambit has to be very careful of this.
Diamond is coming around to try and cover him off. Red Buff has just spawned, but it looks like the 3-man SK Gaming are happy to try and force the pressure here. Darien is heading up there. They're going to see that with the ward. I expect them to start backing away immediately. Yes, they do. And then straight away, Darien heads back down. But this is all buying a little bit of time for the farm to continue. That top turret, though, very, very low. SK not fully committed to backing off from this one, and it's going to be the ultimate coming out from Kevin. Gets on towards Alex Ditch, but it's not going to do a great deal. He just a little meh pop, not really a great big pop. Alex will be safe there, but Hercubot just managed to get taken down by Darker. Now they're going to jump on Cataclysm on towards Candy Panda. The flame comes out from Nif. They're going to continue. Piercing Arrow will be charged up by Genja. He's not going to follow it through on towards Candy Panda, though, and he will just back away. It's even 2-2 in kills.
And we actually saw a really strong engage of SK. Like, that fight was on their own terms. You saw Hercubot pop his ultimate right onto Darker. We do have Darian coming up towards the top side, but Ocelot will be following him.
Ocelot will be following. Kevin taken low in that bottom lane, but here comes Darian. He's going to be jumping across. He's going to launch him towards him, pops the ultimate down. He's going to catch onto the boat, but Ocelot comes in. He pops his ultimate. He manages to take down Darian. Nip is now low. He tries to play. Oh, he played the wrong direction, and he will get taken down. It's Darker that picks up another. Well, step aside, Edward, because Darker now has 3 kills.
Gosh, the ultimate kill secure for his team right now. And that was a great follow by Ocelot, but even better by Gambit right there to come in there and pick up those double kills. In the meantime, Alex was bottom lane just pushing up that turret, trying to be very aggressive right there. And like I was saying before, how the fight began was Hercubot actually ulting Darker, and they fought on their own terms, but then we saw Diamond turn it around, force them back. So in the end, Gambit coming out ahead on that one. And Alex is playing really well. He's actually countering here, but Kevin will actually spot him with that ward. Will he be able to stop him, though?
He may well go in towards it. He does get the red buff. Now he's going to go aggressive on towards Alex. Has he got his ultimate available? No, it's not, but he's going to be low enough. And the Ignite takes him down, and Kevin steals away the red buff from the corpse of Alex Inch.
That was so well done. Getting the red buff, heading him to slow him, popping the Ignite, and the build on a cutlass on him so he couldn't escape over that wall, since he did have that flash available. Very well done, and I was thinking to myself, what's the possibility that Ocelot will be the new top laner for SK, and Kevin will go to middle?
Well, we'll see. You know, we've already seen Fnatic being that mobility team that they can switch up the lanes. Peke went into the top lane, while actually Lissandro of Soaz was at the side. Ooh, Genja. He's going to get focused on. They're going to go in. It's Darker. They're going to find it. The ultimate comes out from Hercubot. The hook comes in from Din, and Darker is just exploded where he stands.
I'm a little bit confused by this, actually, because Hercubot, every ultimate he's used has been on a Darker, and they keep going for kills on him. Obviously, he's trying to get Candy Panda fed.
3-1-0, why not?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's trying to get Candy Panda fed, but, you know, what about Alex, who's sitting very well in farm, has really good items? What about Darian, who honestly has some decent farm as well? But honestly, I think SK is just happy picking up kills wherever they can.
I think Darian was just getting found by Kevin there. A little bit of poke they were seeing if they could get towards that blue buff that Alex is on now. Ocelot's continuing his farm in that mid lane. He's actually caught up on Darian as well. Equal farm between those two. Got Sorcerer's Boots as well. Still hasn't completed that Seeker's Vanguard that he was built towards. He just had no reason for it once he changed lanes away from Alex Itch.
And he's sitting on 1,500 gold right now to spend anyway, so when he does go back, he'll have it relatively soon. He's the Seeker Arm Guard part of it. And SK doing extremely well considering, you know, the performance they've had. Unfortunately, it seems like they've really composed themselves as Nip lands a pull into Darian. And nothing
not going to follow it up though. Not the target they were looking for, and they let him go. Get that hook on the line. Dragon is spawned, and well, you can see Gambit already maneuvering for it, placing those pink wards down. They have full ward coverage, whereas SK don't really have any vision at all. So I'd be surprised if they're fighting them in the open, straight in the river. That would be nice for them, but the pink wards are everywhere. SK do manage to put that ward down now. Now they have good coverage, and this is a standoff.
Yeah, look at this dance that's going on right now. Both just walking into each other, walking back, but they're obviously just waiting for one person to make just one wrong move here. But Gambit looks like they're going to start off Dragon here. This might be a time for SK to actually engage. Ocelot doesn't have a splash up just yet, but obviously has an ultimate. Hercubot, his ulti will be up very soon, so we could see a fight off the back of Dragon, if anything.
Ultimate from Hercubot is just being delayed. The hook goes on towards Alex. They pile in towards him. Cataclysm comes down. That's going to be the knockup, and SK dropping like flies here. But they might be able to pick up a kill on Darian. He should get popped, and Kevin does take that one down. Can he get anyone else from it? No. Candy Panda, I feel if he'd have stuck around there, he could have turned that fight on its head. And Genja, I'm sure, would have gone down, but it was a 4-for-3 to Gambit.
That was so explosive. We talked about, you know, Alex not getting ganked at all, but they just piled on him, blew everything they possibly could. He popped like a balloon, and then they switched over to Darian, and they didn't let Gambit engage upon them. However, SK still lost one man more, and they came out the losers, unfortunately, of that fight.
Yeah, and of course they took that Dragon as well. 2-1 in turrets, gold. You can see very, very close between them. They didn't take the Dragon. Thank you very much, Panky. I get it. I see what you're trying to say. I made a mistake. I do call him out on a lot as well, but so fair enough. Ocelot's going to get a massive chunk of farm in that bottom lane. He's going to come in and clear that up. Actually, Kevin's heading there as well. I think he wants to leave it for him. Yes, they're actually leaving it for Kevin, so they want Kevin to be the one that gets farmed.
Yeah, it seems like Ocelot, I mean, he's going to do a lot of damage. As in the meantime, I do see Gambit taking Dragon here. Nif's going to be coming in, but he's going to stop it just here. But he seems like more of a stun bot now. As Hercubot went over the wall, he tried to go in for it, but Nif should be able to save him. Well, actually, he's forced to flash because it was a little too late.
A little too late. The hook gets thrown out there. The top turret went down to minions actually as well while this is all happening. So that swings Gambit's gold. 2,000 in their favor. And of course, The advantage is slowly being clawed back once again by Gambit. How often do we see this throughout the spring season? Despite the fact they may well fall behind, they always find a way to get back into it.
Yeah, I think I said that last split, that you can, beat them in lane. You can have more kills than them, but they will always have more gold than you in the end from that. And Hercubot, because he's using that energy-based champion, well, 2 of them, he's able to pick up those blues quite consistently. Level 10. We do have also at level 11 right now. And honestly, I think the next bit of action will become, I think when Kevin hits 16, when he gets that rank 3 ultimate, he can pop anyone on the team of Gambit by himself.
Well, they're desperately giving him the levels.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
see he's taken that big bottom wave, and now he's taken the big top wave. He's already up to 14, so he's actually built 2-level advantage over Alex Sitch. So almost certainly that is what they're building towards.
Yeah, and it's going to work extremely well, though. We saw in the last fight they did pop Alex, but they all got knocked up by Darker's ultimate. Unfortunately, they did end up paying the price for that. And I don't know, I kind of like it because it's kind of nice to see the focus of SK around Kevin now instead of Ocelot, where usually they feed him the farm, they feed him the kills and try to have him be the big playmaker. But Kevin, he's been doing it so far.
And if you notice from Ocelot, he did go for that Seeker's Arm Guard. He went for the greedy, went for the needlessly large rod, get that item in there, wants to start doing a bit more ultimate damage on him. Bot with his ulti available, didn't have it available in that last fight, I believe. The poke on towards Candy Panda, the hook going in towards Diamond Prox, not really the target they want to be finding. Kevin's still up in that top lane, still free farming, still trying to keep the pressure down. Now they've realized they're going to have to deal with him. He's already halfway to 15 as well. He's a long way ahead in levels. Galaxy's now just hitting level 13.
With where Kevin is right now in terms of items, in terms of levels, no one on Gambit can 1v1 him. So if he's split pushing, he's forcing more than one member of Gambit to go back and really defend against him, which could be a key for SK to go for a really hard engage with the Sejuani ultimate. Ocelot following that up with his ultimate as well. And kind of right now, they're controlling the pace of this game. Though Darren did just pick up his Zonia's Hourglass, so this might actually change things up.
Kevin's got to be careful he doesn't get caught in a 3v1 situation. He tries to go aggressive towards Genji, but he's just buying time. He knows that there's 3 members up there. SK have got a free reign on this middle turret. They're going to go straight in. The fact that Candy Panda and Ocelot are there, they will take this down very quickly. There's not a great deal that Darien can do about it. No, they're going to actually back away.
I liked it.
Didn't have the confidence. Actually, they needed to because Gambit had surrounded them.
I mean, because Darien was coming in, if he landed the stun or the snare onto them, they would have been screwed with the chain of corruption mixed in with Kha'Zix jumping in. So smart play of them, not getting too greedy. They know the turret's already very low now, as also does have his Zonias as well. So we could see them push middle and actually dive them under turret, but take the turret at the same time and pick up a couple of kills. In
the same vein, Zonia's Hourglass has also been completed by Darien as well, so it could be both charging in towards each other. We'll see which one comes out on top. There's going to be a whole lot of frostiness going on, that's for sure, with Darien and Hercubot throwing their ultimates out at each other. Oh, Kevin's heading down the river. He's going to pass that ward. They're going to see him coming. Alex Sitch is not in that fight either, and immediately Gambit disengage. They get straight back towards their safety of their turret.
And right now, Candy Pen is sitting on 2,600 gold to spend. And it looks like SK, they want to take one more objective. Like, it might be a little too greedy for them, but as I said, it looks like he is going to be backing away as Kevin was waiting, trying to go for Alex here. And with this buy-up from Candy Panda, which I'm assuming will be towards the last Whisper, SK should definitely go for a fight here. Like, they'll have Kevin at level 16 by the time Candy Panda gets back.
Oh, he went for a Zeal instead, completing them Berserker Greaves along. There's the start of the last Whisper, so it's going to be his... actually, that could be Phantom Dancer going towards as well. We'll see what it does come out with. Ocelot, keeping the pressure down. Darien trying to force him away. Looking at the gold, you can see it there on your screens. 500 difference between the two AD carries. Big difference still between, of course, I'd say big difference because technically you shouldn't be looking at Ocelot versus Alex Sitch. You should be looking at Kevin and Alex Sitch. And it's actually still 1,000 gold in the favor of Kevin. They're actually looking at Ocelot versus Darien as a 500 gold swing that away. And the jungler actually of Diamond Prox has got a 500 swing also on Hercubot. So you can see the advantages they have gained, the fact that they have picked up, of course, those dragons is helping out Darien, Diamond, Genjo, and everyone else to get that little lead.
And having Kevin this far ahead is really giving them a nice advantage as well because of the split pushing thing I was mentioning earlier. Like, Gambit has to send more than one person against him to kill him, which, he's going to be farming up bottom lane now. He has a Blade of the Rune King and a Black Cleaver, so his damage is going to be amazing if he does want to go in. Like, Genja, if he ever gets sticks to him, he's going to die. There's no way around that. But it looks like Gambit, they want to set for a fight here potentially. They know that Kevin is down bottom. Instead, it looks like they're going to back away and bide their time.
I'll be surprised if they do. I mean, they could try and dive for it. Diamond is desperately getting itchy feet at the side there, but I think it's simply setting up for a dragon fight. I think that's all they're looking towards. Or maybe even a Baron fight. Kevin has managed to shove that bottom wave on. He's going to throw the ward down to continue his pressure
spotted yet.
going in there. Well, they kind of know that he's down and around there somewhere, so he hasn't actually got a ward on him, so I don't know where he's going to pull that one from, but he's not going to be able to place it. He's continuing pushing on towards the inner turret, and now Alex is just coming across to deal with him.
And I don't even think he can really do that. I mean, if anything, you just keep him off the turret by clearing the waves really quickly, but does do some good damage.
Take the turrets down. He's going to turn it back around. Pops the ultimate out. It's not going to be enough. Will the pop come down? Yes, it will. And it's a straight up 1-for-1.
Wow, that was just some ridiculous damage coming out of both of the champions right there. I have to say, if Kevin probably started attacking maybe a little bit quicker and not try to get out of that turret range right away, we actually do see engage on middle.
They are going to go in there. The Stranglethorns is about to pop, and Ocelot's ultimate's popping across them. As is Darian's, and Ocelot's ultimate's doing more. Sonya's Hourglass works out there. Can they land the damage? Darkest down, second now very low. Ignite will finish him off. Candy Panther's going to get one more in hit there. He should be able to go towards Genji. He's taking the turret damage, and Diamond Prox is going to slide in. One little lash. Will he land the hook? Yes, he does! I can't believe it! And Candy Panther picks up the triple kill. Godlike play from Nif.
So well done. We talked about Nif playing these aggressive supports on the Elise the Thresh. That hook was perfectly well placed. And SK coming out ahead finally in a team fight here, picking up pretty much an ace if you want to look at it that way, and also a turret off of that, so they're going to get a nice little bit of a gold lead here. Dragon is available, not to mention Candy Panda has 2,000 gold to spend when he goes back, so if he wasn't strong enough already, he's become that much stronger, and we have an ultra coming out of Nif, so we could see that Baron bait coming in relatively soon.
That was the exact fight that SK Gaming were looking for. And look at Kevin, straight back towards that top lane. A big juicy wave to farm out, and he continues to get those levels. Level 17, almost at 18 as well. Meanwhile, Alex, as you can see, he's just about to top out at 16. Dragon is available. He's going to go in towards there. Kevin's not going to be available for this one. So Gambit, I feel, are going to take this one for free.
They've taken pretty much every Dragon this entire game so far. Honestly, they do that extremely well. They're one of the best Dragon takers in the game. I believe they're number 2 in terms of ranking behind Fnatic here. That will go over to them, and they do. Okay, so SK does have the Oracle, and I was thinking potentially might be going for Baron, but the way they're setting up, they might actually go for a top push here. And currently, Gambit has no vision on the top side of the map.
Candy Panther's not really with the rest of his team, but look at SK. They're just taking everything away from that top area of the jungle. The red buff is going. Ocelot's going to try and take away those wraiths. And you see Genji does manage to get his piercing arrow across, but there's the red buff. Hercubot picks that up. They're collapsing in towards Kevin. He was pushing on towards that turret. He's just going to walk away from that one. Was slowed briefly by the Void Spikes. Now they're going to back away, and everybody is backing towards the mid lane.
Look what SK is doing to them. You just saw pretty much Genji run from the top down to the bottom to the top. He's like, where should I go, or where can I go? They're just kind of not toying with them, but they're doing a good job of controlling Gambit, and that's really hard for teams to do.
And look at the difference, though, as well, between Candy Panda and Genji. The fact that he just picked up that triple kill takes him to 6-1-4, 192 CS compared to 152 and 14-5. That puts the gold lead. You can see it's like 900 gold, close to 800 gold between the two, and he's definitely starting to develop a big difference. And this is unusual because Genji likes to sit and farm.
Yeah, he does. And I was wondering earlier when I was casting their game, is this a new playstyle out of him that we saw back in Katowice, of him finally being aggressive when he's kind of reverted back to defensive? Oh, Ocelot. Oh, no.
No, he's not. They're actually collapsing in towards Alex Ich. This is all bait. Ocelot's managed to try and work him in there. We do see Nif coming down the river, as is Candy Panda. They're collapsing the distance. We also saw Kevin taking down Darker there in the top half of the jungle. And now Alex Ich is in trouble here. Nif's going to come in, throws the box down. They know exactly where he is. That's Ocelot's going to throw out a hook. The hook comes in. It's not going to land, though.
Oh,
the stun doesn't go. It uses an ultimate. He's not going to get away because the ultimate from Hercubot lands on towards him. There is a lot of ultimates being burnt on this one, but they will pick up the kill. And now Kevin, he's getting that free farm, continuing to push on the middle, but you can see Genja, he's going to push down. This is going to be a turret gain for Gambit. So all that positional play has actually backfired on Mano. They're so scared, they don't know the positions. Ooh, I tell you what, Kevin might be able to go for Darien there, but instead he's just going to back off to safety.
If he had his ultimate available, I think he definitely would. He actually popped it all on Darker, blew him up, obviously, towards the beginning of that fight, but so well done by SK. I mean, Ocelot kind of just baited in Alex, just like he said, able to pick up the kill, and off of that, they're going to get some damage onto a turret. Actually, they even might be able to get the bottom turret because Kevin previously did a lot of damage to it.
Ocelot now is going to be pushing in there. Hercubot is with him as well as Candy Panda and Nif. They may be able to get on towards this inner turret. They have got the tank mini in there, so they're going to put a lot of damage down on towards it. Instead, they're going to choose to back away, keep the safety. Kevin continues to push, hits level 18. Now 2 clean levels about ahead of anyone else in the game.
And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, Ocelot said this before, I believe on the analysis test one time, is that, you know, against Fnatic, they hit that 40-minute mark and then just someone makes a mistake and then losing the game.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, you're seeing Kevin split push when they're obviously going to be stronger. Well, not obviously, but it's really close. But still, they're stronger in team fights. But still, in the end, it's kind of like a game plan for that. They just want to let him keep doing that, and then they end up having a 4v4 or even a 4v3 in any other lane they want to go for. Because Kevin is just, he's farming away. 279 CS, 28 minutes in. He has the last Whisper, so you can't really build armor against him.
Alex is just, Kevin is just drawing everyone towards him right
exactly.
now. You saw 4 members of Gambit going up there. They were so fearful of finding him, anyone in the open there. Ooh, very dangerous play for Nif here. He's going to try and get a ward out, you can see, but he's stood on top of one right now. Has got that Oracle with him. He's well aware of it, but he's got to be making sure he doesn't get ward baited, and he does back away from this one. Kevin is starting to head down. He's going to pass straight through a pink ward, so they know that he's coming. And again, these middle turrets, what Gambit want, but it's taken so long to get close to doing it.
Yeah, exactly. They've been sieging away at this for about 15 minutes now. Looks like they'll finally get it. Darian does go in.
Darian flashes in for it. It's Candy Panda they went for, but the Dark Passage was taken. And Nif pulls him to safety. The hook comes in. It's Alex 685. He goes in, gets the pops down. Chain of Corruption comes down. There's only 4 members there right now. They happen to try and get into position. SK Gaming are dropping like flies. Alex jumps around. He manages to get 2 and just flies through the team. Kevin was not in the fight because he's taking down the inhibitor turret at the top.
And that was just so well done by SK in the end. Like, they wanted to go for that fight, and it was actually a pretty good fight since they got the pull onto Alex, but they didn't have the damage. Kevin wasn't there, and in the end, Gambit picking up 4 kills for 1 inhibitor turret, and now Gambit, they're fancying the chances at Baron, and honestly, I think Kevin can clean up. I think he could easily clean this up.
I don't think they can do Baron. They're going to get taken so low here. They've passed the ward as well. Look at it. They're desperately tanking it around. Kevin could just come in and clean house here.
Waiting.
Oh, and here he comes. He's going to go diving in for it. He does try and get on towards it. It's going to be one pill. Gets on towards Diamond. Tries to come away from this one. Alex is taken so low. The Ignite now. Oh, but Darker's managed to catch the root on him. Very well played by Darker, the man. The new guy for Gambit does manage to clean up the kill, and they take the Baron down. It's only Diamond Prox that went down.
So in the end, it was an ace, a turret, and Baron for Gambit. That just gave him such a strong lead right now. And we talked about also mentioning at 40 minutes, someone seems to make a mistake, and the game goes downhill from there. That was about the 28, 29 minute mark. So hopefully SK will be able to do something to turn this around. They obviously have a very strong team fighting composition. It's just about them all being there. That's the thing, is that they've been sending Kevin off to do his own thing this entire time, split pushing. But now they're on the defensive. They cannot really push against a Baroned up Gambit.
They need him in the fights now. Alex is hit level 18. He managed to clean up there. And now he's got a Guardian Angel. He's going to be a fly with 4 wings. Not too sure how that works. It makes him very maneuverable in the fights, I think. He's going to be jumping around. So it's time that Kevin actually joined them. They did take down that inhibitor turret though. So while Gambit do have the Baron, they still have all of the inner turrets SK Gaming right now, whereas you can see that top lane is completely exposed. The bottom lane had a lot of pressure on it, as well as the middle inner turret. So SK Gaming have been taking turrets, while Gambit are trying to take kills.
And at this moment, it's working out very well for SK at this point. And Dragon coming up yet again. Gambit taking every single Dragon this game, if they do in fact get this one. And Ocelot, he just finished his death cap. I mean, he already did a lot of damage, but it's going to be amplified so much more. And honestly, after this Baron goes down, this might be a key for them to go for this engage. They're waiting for Kevin to pick up his GA first, though. He has that Chain Vest done, and he kind of needs it to go against Alex, considering he has one.
Yeah, he doesn't want to dive in. The fact that he was caught out Candy Panda in that fight as well. Darian dived in towards him, and that's kind of what turned the fight on. Guardian Angel was completed by Genja, as you were mentioning. Honestly, Candy Panda, he has to find something to be safe. The defensive item often is the 3rd or the 4th item. What is he going to push towards? Would he go for a GA of his own?
I think it depends on how this next fight kind of goes. I mean, we've seen Darren engage upon him and pop his ultimate right onto him, but a nice positioning by Nif hold him away with the Lantern. Ideally, I don't think he necessarily needs it, but depending on how, I think if the fight lasts longer, like about 20 seconds longer, or even 10 seconds longer, then Ocelot's ultimate's down, then they're not really going to win the fight, because that means Gambit out-sustained them, and they're not going to be able to have that nice chain of CC that they can use.
Well, as we mentioned, Kevin is now with the team, and it is going to be a straight-up 5v5 fight if the next one happens. It's going to be Alex Teacher, almost certainly will be the target, but the fact that there's the double GAs, it's going to cause it effectively a 7v5 in this next fight. If it's to happen, Candy Panda already taken low. It's going to be a grasping route. It's actually calling towards Kevin. He's going to get jumped on, and he gets melted. Gambit are going to turn this one around. Alex goes flying in there. He's going to jump on towards Kevin, straight on towards Nif. He will get popped. That's going to be the Guardian Angel popped in there. Darker's also taken very low. Genja does manage to jump across. Alex comes across, gets the reset, and that is the ace for Gambit Gaming.
Even Genja, unfortunately, losing that GA right there, actually should be able to escape this quite easily, but Gambit, so well played right there. Kevin, unfortunately, getting caught, and you can't afford to do that when you're the major damage dealer for your team. And that was a dive past the tier 2 turret middle and the inhibitor turret, and they ended up picking up that ace.
And that whole fight started off with Darker landing the root. The new guy, the temporary guy that will, his presence, you know, while a great play, you have to see how they do in the limelight, under the spotlight, in front of this giant crowd here at DreamHack. And it does look like Gambit have to found their second man or their new support guy. As it stands, the inhibitor goes down, and now Alexich and co have a 7,000 gold lead built up over SK Gaming, who at one point were 4,000 gold lead ahead themselves.
Yes, they were. And unfortunately for SK, they lost that lead. And I'm going to go a little bit Statman on you, since I did it earlier with NIP versus Gambit, where Gambit finished less than 16 seconds after the first inhibitor went down. Gambit typically finishes on average against SK a minute 54 seconds after the first inhibitor drops. So we might see them actually go for the final blow here relatively soon, but typically that's pretty much right after Baron's picked up, and they finish the game usually right after that. Still, they backed away. They lost 2 GAs in that fight, which honestly might be key for SK to know that they could probably fight him here having those GAs down. That means Kevin will have a target to go to pretty much burst down that isn't Jarvan or Syra.
Well, they lost the 2 GAs, and they took Kevin out of the fight at the very beginning. So effectively, it was a 4v5 right at the start, or 4v7 effectively. So well, it's still dangerous territory. If they can't get onto Kevin at the start, which this time they did,
exactly,
then he could just rip through that team.
That's what I'm trying to say is that, you know, Kevin, who could he ulti if he didn't get caught? Because they have the GAs to get back up anyways. But now with those down, he could blow up Alex. He could blow up Genja easily. At SK, they're really not out of this game at all. They're
out of the side though, and they're maybe looking at trying to start them towards Diamond Box there. Look at the whole of SK team just off the side. They're maybe going to come around the back of Gambit. This is an all-in tactic coming out from SK Gaming. Hercubot, oh, he was about to trigger it. He's trying to bait them. The rest of the team were already backing away though.
And this is actually really bad position at SK. They're going to have to run around their base, but luckily for them, they're all passing a ward.
They know that they're there.
Oh, here comes Darian.
Darian's going to go in. It's Kevin. He's dived in once again, and Kevin gets completely caught out. Nif gets jumps in. Alexis goes for the reset. He gets it. He gets one down. Ocelot uses out Sonya's hourglass, but there's going to be Alexis. That's a triple kill. Now he's on to Hercubot. Can he get the quadra kill? No, the jump reset failed, but the chain of corruption lands, and there's the piercing arrow coming out from Genja. Snipes him down through the wall, and Candy Panda, the last man standing. It does look like SK Gaming are going to fall to Gambit after such a valiant effort put up at the start, but Gambit Gaming are looking so strong here. Once they turn around, once they get a sniff of blood, they will take your entire arm, your leg, the whole damn thing, and Gambit have managed to pick up another win. They're 2-2 in the LCS.
And that's the thing, SK, they were up a good portion of that game. You could probably say the entirety of that game until that one fight, until Kevin just got caught, got blown up, lost an inhibitor off of that. Honestly, SK, I mean, even though they're 0-4 now in the spring split of LCS, or summer split of LCS, they didn't play bad at all in that game. Like, that was a really well high skill play by them. But Gambit, like you just said, like they gave him a little tick of blood and they just took the whole arm, the whole body.
Well, it does take SK Gaming to 0-4 now and Gambit to 2-2. But, as you mentioned, it wasn't badly played by SK Gaming, and Kevin maybe being fed in that top lane. By the way, Jason is really happy with his stats right there, ladies and gentlemen, because 1 minute 57, it was around about that close as well.
It was very close.
It was very close to a 2-minute mark that they did finish off the game. And, you know, once they take them inhibs, as proven against NIP, they will pile on through. But to take us through the analysis of that game, we are going to head over to Joe Miller and Trevor Quickshot Henry at the analysis desk.
Thanks a lot, guys. So, as the caster said there, Demon and Jason, a valiant effort from SK Gaming, but really difficult for them. I mean, Gambit, it was a chaotic game. I mean, it was one of those that really could have gone either way. We saw fights going this way, that way. They were always just a big jumble of mess every single time.
And the thing is, it was like that from the very beginning of the game. One of the things that I noted going into it, Hercubot was not hesitating to use that ultimate of Sejuani. Nope. He was throwing them out over and over and over, and there was a failed 3v1 dive around about 8 minutes up in the top lane where Darker actually managed to get the Zyra ulti down, knocking them up in the air. He tanked up the turret for a year and a half, and he ended up going down off an engagement which he started. Now, that one failed, but many others did not, and for a long time, they actually held a good kill advantage over their opponents.
Well, we have no replay for you this time around, but we can talk you through some of them if we can. I mean, me and Trevor were watching these back and we had it in quarter speed, and it was almost impossible actually to really tell what was going on and when, because they were on top of each other the entire time.
Yeah, so basically there was one particular fight which I actually said to Joe, I'm like, let's watch this at quarter speed and like seriously try pick out the individual abilities, and it's impossible because everybody used everything at the same time, and it was in and around the Dragon Pit, and the problem was that because everybody layered everything at exactly the same time, you had stuns, snares, roots, silences, everything going on there, that half the teams just instantly died. And one of the big things that we noticed is that Candy Panda, I don't know if he was attack moving or if he was playing defensive, because at the end of the fight, he walked away with 2/3 hit points, and Genja and Darker walked away with about 1/3. And it's one of those things where you go, if he was shift right clicking into the fight, would he have been hitting people? Would he have been dealing damage? Would it have changed the course of the game? And it's something that I would actually like to pose to him personally.
So what happens to SK now? I mean, their record is not good at this stage, to say the least. They are a very momentum-based team. We talked about this a lot in the spring split, that when things go well for them, they go really well. When they go bad, they tend to go really badly for them. And it's not like they played badly this game. They've steadily, slowly but surely improved their game throughout this weekend here. I mean, that win surely is going to come for them in the next couple of games.
I know that the 4 games that we have seen from them have become progressively better, exactly like you said, and I think if they continue the trend, it will work into their favor. We were briefly chatting to Minsik, the team manager, and he was saying, look, we just got to buckle down. Like, we just have to put our heads into the game, and I think they're aware of their mistakes. You know, the manager was saying they're a little bit behind in some moments, and I think they were very analytical of their previous games, and like down to the second, Min was basically saying like, at this point we needed to do that, at this point we need to do that. So it's great to see that they've got an understanding of where the problems are, and hopefully they can just drill it into themselves. It's very difficult at a live event to all of a sudden change the way you approach the game, but it will take a bit of time.
It will take time, but I'm sure that they will get there. But thanks a lot, Trevor. Once again, we'll be moving over to Cáceres for our final 2 games of the day. But first, we're going to check in on the stage with Shocks, who's got Alex Itch on standby.
Thank you very much, Joe. Yes, Alex, now walk me through that game, because it was very close. SK was ahead actually in the beginning, and then at some point you just dropped all the AoE on them and it was over.
We thought that losing is not an option, so we decided to bait them and outsmart them.
You're never going to hear the end of this, but really, like, your game on Kha'Zix just developed as the game went on. You could just pick them off after all the AoE was put on them as the game progressed.
So actually the plan is that Lissandra is locking the one target, we get the reses and kill them. But actually it was really hard to engage on them, and most of the engages were me catching the hook, and the fight was starting like that. So I really needed GA earlier. I think I should build it after Manamune maybe. But still, I think that that was the only way we could start the fight, because that was split pushing us all the time and we needed to do something. And as for that, I really hated to play this game, because the only way I could deal with him is just trade with him 1-for-1. And I thought that my team could fight them 4 versus 4, but it didn't end well. So after we got all our items, we were much stronger in team fights, and we just benefit from it.
All right, now the weekend of ups and downs so far for Gambit, but it's only the first weekend of games, of course. So what is your evaluation so far with Darker, who has, of course, joined the team, and the general form of Gambit?
So I think that our scrims were much better than we're playing at the moment, so I would say that we're underperforming. I think last days of scrims were bad too, so I would say that it started from there. But still, Darker is a really good player. I really like his Sona play, and his Zyro was amazing this game, so I think we should be fine.
All right, then the last game of the day for you guys is going to be Lemon Dogs, who started off very strong yesterday, not as strong today. What is your prediction on that?
I think the only problems for Lemon Dogs, as for our game, can be that they can be very tired, because they're like this is their 4th game for today, and I think that they are really strong enemies, and we'll try to do the same that Alternate and Meme do. So we will try to some kind of reproduce that action. And because I think that they really did well at abusing their weaknesses. But I think it will be the hardest game for today, though the game versus SK wasn't really easy.
Thank you very much, Alex. We're very much looking forward to that game as well. But of course, the next game we're going to have on this stage is going to be Meteor Makers as they take on Fnatic. Meteor Makers having an impressive run here. Fnatic coming off a loss against EG, so they'll be sure to want to show us something. Meteor Makers versus Fnatic after the break.